Hello, my name is Gregor Gregoric, and I will give you a short introduction to establishment and functions of DMCSEE, namely Drought Management Center for Southeastern Europe. In first part, which is in this video, I will give you and I will explain you how DMCSEE was formed and what it was accomplished until now. In the second part, I will show you the available products, operational products, mainly maps and drought monitoring bulletin. And in the third part, instead of summary and conclusions, we will look beyond Southeastern Europe, and I will show you, using just a few slides, two of my favorite drought monitoring systems. But first, let's look at the development of DMCSEE. DMCSEE is a virtual center, much like World Meteorological Organization regional climate centers. However, it was founded by two international agencies, namely World Meteorological Organizations and UN Commission to Combat Desertification. Both of these agencies are very much interested that its member states are capable of monitoring and managing drought. During the kickoff of DMCSEE, we have formulated a short sentence that is expressing the mission of DMCSEE. And this mission is written here, as you can see, in bold letters. However, the main words here are to coordinate and to facilitate. So, in other words, not to do something instead of somebody or in behalf of somebody, but rather to group partners together, to search synergies and to reach, I would say, a momentum to be able to be competitive in different project calls, which were to some degree quite successful, as you will see in the continuation. So here is the timeline of development of DMCSEE. So as you can see, even before 2006 there were a lot of workshops, meetings and so on, and the need for a center, at that time it was still called the Balkan Drought Center. The need was established already quite long time ago. However, the main kickoff was decision on DMCSEE host institution, which was under a certain procedure that was led by WMO, finalized in 2006. 2006-2007 are somehow years of the kickoff of DMCSEE. At that time, with the extensive help of WMO, we were able to formulate a kind of kickoff project document, which was, of course, a bit reshaped and so on, sent to a tender for the Interreg projects. And fortunately it was successful, so the first project was started in 2009, and this is one of the projects that I will show you in the next few slides. And then the second project that will be presented in this video in more extensively is also the so-called Triennial project, which actually finished last year. However, I have to acknowledge also other projects and donors and financiers, mainly a global water partnership. So there was a quite large global water partnership project, namely establishment of IDMP. And also there were other projects that were managed by WMO. WMO also financed secondment of staff in the DMCSEE headquarters and so on. So we should all be thankful to everybody that helped in this respect. However, those two major projects were basically the main driving force that enabled the operational products that we are able to serve today. So as I said, the first was so-called kickoff DMCSEE project that was financed by so-called Southeastern Europe Transnational Cooperation Program. So this was basically financed by the EU. There were 15 partners from 9 countries available. However, not all countries of DMCSEE were able to participate, and this was, as you will see also in the continuation, this is one of the major problems. So not everybody is eligible to be financed in every situation, and sometimes this is a bit frustrating, but this is the only way to be able to work, to do something, is to play by the rules that are set by the financing organizations. However, 9 countries participated, and through this project we were able to prepare the initial products that are mainly still available today, namely implementation of standardized precipitation index. So you have to understand that this was almost 10 years ago, and everybody was still in the beginning. So to all the countries, to all the partners, we distributed the software, we had a lot of trainings and so on. However, we prepared the maps of the standardized precipitation index that are covering the whole region. And are still available today, as you will see in the continuation. So these are the examples of these maps. So basically, the first one is standardized precipitation index calculated from a global precipitation database. Namely, another attribute of the DMCSEE that I would like to point out. So at the beginning, everybody was thinking of preparation of a regional database. However, it soon proved that this is almost impossible due to many restrictions and many different policies about data exchange and so on. So basically, we decided then, and this is still our mode of working today, that we will depend basically on either numerical weather prediction data or from the databases that are available regionally or globally. So our standardized precipitation index that is covering the region is calculated from GPCC database. And there are a lot of NWP products available for drought monitoring, as you will see also in the continuation of this presentation. Another important achievement of this kickoff project was archive of the drought impacts. So this is one of the most important messages that you might get from these presentations. When you deal with drought, of course, it is important to follow the most recent scientific findings and so on, so that that you know that you are using indicators and indices that are the most advanced and so on. However, sooner or later there will be a need to compare the performance of these indicators against an archive of drought impacts. And it is very frustrating if this archive is not available. So this is an example of the just a snapshot of table of contents of the archive that we have prepared. What is very important is that when you prepare the historical list of drought impacts, that you specify as much accurately as possible the location and the time of the drought impact that took place. So this is something that will be also both for the purpose of calibration of indicators and for the purpose of risk assessment or vulnerability assessment. This type of data is very important. Uh, yeah, so another uh, project outcome was regional vulnerability assessment. So again, of course, there is a scientific background of this procedure that was implemented here, but again, I have to stress, most important is to assure that everybody has access to the basic data and that everybody is aware of the factors that are causing the drought vulnerability. So in case of our region, this is mainly agricultural drought, vulnerability to agricultural drought. So our assessment was based mainly on the soil properties. So basically, shallow soil means larger vulnerability, and to some other either geophysical or climatic factors. Um, and this was, of course, the outcome, the full outcome of this first project was mainly used as a basis to follow-up projects. And Dry Danube is a kind of follow-up project of this first kickoff DMCSEE project. It is very similar in shape. The financing mechanism is almost the same, so it's a transnational cooperation program that is financed by the EU. However, of course, not only EU countries are eligible to participate, also partners from countries that are not member states were eligible for financing within this project. However, again, we had to make compromise and to adjust to the requirements of the financing mechanism, and the major requirements was to have a project executed in the Danube river catchment. So some of the partners, some of the countries from the DMCSEE member states were not eligible to participate. And this is still a problem that is not completely solved. So how the outcomes of this project, how to transfer the outcomes of this project also to other countries that did not participate during the project itself. So the outcomes of this project are fairly similar to the outcomes of the first project, but of course are a bit more advanced. So the first one is drought user service. This one, and this will be, I will not describe this in much detail because this is the topic of the whole session. So basically, drought user service is now functioning in the scope of droughtwatch.eu platform, and not only the monitoring products, also methodologies for drought impact and risk assessment, and the maps are also available within this platform. However, one of the outcomes of this project is also so-called drought management strategy. During the Dry Danube project, we looked closely into the performance, the whole cycle of drought management. And drought monitoring is only one essential initial part of drought management. However, drought monitoring alone does not improve situation, as you can see written here in bold letters. Apart from drought monitoring, there have to be also protocols describing appropriate actions for each of the stages of drought development in order to improve situation. So I will not describe this in more details. We will give you during these sessions, we will give you, of course, information how you are able to access this document if you are interested. However, it is important that you understand that establishment of drought monitoring system is only the first step in successful drought management. So this completes the first part of the DMCSEE presentation.